Hello and welcome to the Prova Underlayments webinar. In this webinar, we will discuss and demonstrate the various ways Prova Underlayments help you quickly and easily produce an ideal surface for tiling your floors in wet or dry areas. I'm Dwayne Farley, the Technical and Installation Specialist for MD Pro Flooring Accessories and Prova Tile Installation Products. I have over 40 years experience in the industry and I'm excited to share my knowledge with you in this video. As with all our Prova products, Prova Underlayments are designed with the installer in mind. That means when installed according to our instructions, our underlayments produce long-lasting, failure-free flooring systems. In this video, I will highlight all the exceptional technical features as well as the simplified installation process offered by our crack isolation and uncoupling membrane systems, Provoflex and Provoflex Heat. You can use these underlayments on or below grade, and Provoflex Heat is perfect for heated floors. Provoflex and Provoflex Heat offer easy, efficient methods for finishing floors and will ensure you always have a strong surface to tile. No heavy materials to carry around, no flooring product that support the growth of mold and mildew. Before we talk about Provoflex and Provoflex Heat specifically, let's talk about the benefits of using tile underlayment products in general. Tile underlayments are membrane systems installed on top of subfloor and beneath floor tiles, and they are usually characterized by two features: uncoupling and crack isolation. Uncoupling refers to how the underlayment separates the subfloor from the floor tiles. Crack isolation refers to how the underlayment isolates tile from minor in-plane substrate cracking, and it's often used to emphasize that a product has undergone and passed testing part of the ANSI A118.12 standard. ANSI A118.12 is the American National Standard Specification for crack isolation membranes. An underlayment that is compliant to ANSI A118.12 will carry all the benefits listed here. A major test part of the ANSI A118.12 standard is the Robinson floor test. The Robinson floor test is a method for simulating typical residential and commercial floor traffic, and its purpose is to evaluate and predict how the surface of a tile floor will perform when it's subjected to the continuous movement of different material types that are weighted down. The test involves a specialized testing machine called a Robinson floor tester, which is a carriage with 3 wheels on the bottom and holders on top to carry weighted plates. The tester is placed on top of a completed flooring assembly, which includes a subfloor of either concrete or plywood, an underlayment layer, and a layer of tile and grit. During testing, the wheels on the base of the tester travel along a defined circular path on top of the tile surface, while the plates added weight on top. Here we are showing a modern redesign of a Robinson floor tester known as the TTMAC Universal Floor Tester. The floor tester completes a set number of revolutions and only stops when a set number of failures are reserved or 14 test cycles are completed. Failures include things like chipped tile, cracked grout joints, and so on. As you can see from the chart here, there are a total of 14 test cycles in a Robinson floor test, and each cycle has specific wheel material and weight value associated with it. The test begins with softer wheels and lighter weights placed on top, and it ends with harder wheels and heavier weights placed on top. Now we have a general understanding of what underlayments do and the importance of their use beneath tile or stone. Let's look at one of our underlayment products, Provoflex. Provoflex is our uncoupling and crack isolation membrane that is specifically designed to prevent tile installations from failing when there are small openings in concrete subfloor or small lateral movements caused by expansion and contraction in plywood. There are so many benefits of using Provoflex. It's lightweight, so it's easy to carry around for installations. The polypropylene materials are inherently waterproof, and the unique vapor management system allows vapor to dissipate through channels beneath the underlayment. If you use it on a concrete subfloor and you have some moisture to deal with, which is often the case with concrete, it will allow vapor to escape through channels found under the system. Apart from the vapor channels, what's also unique about the design of Provoflex is that it has a mesh on top. Not only lets you key in mortar in a single pass, but also acts like rebar to make the product stronger. And on the bottom of the underlayment is a 1-ply, non-woven fleece. That's what gives it its shear stress control. If your plywood concrete cracks, which sometimes happens when substrates expand and contract, the fleece won't tear apart because it's all in one piece. It stays together and only shears at the crack location. Our standardized testing results prove just how reliable Provoflex is. As you can see, Provoflex meets the requirements of ANSI, specification for crack isolation membranes. It will accommodate in-plane substrate movement, meaning it will resist 1/8 inch cracks in the substrate that often lead to tile failures. And because it passes all cycles of the Robinson floor test, it can be used in both residential and commercial applications. As is highlighted here, when Provoflex was installed over a concrete subfloor, it passed all cycles part of the Robinson floor test. This means it meets the extra heavy-duty designation, allowing it to be used in areas where high impact is expected: food plants, dairies, breweries, kitchens, and more. Another important technical feature of Provoflex is that it is designed to be used where floor deflections don't exceed L/360 for ceramic tile or L/720 for stone. Deflections of L/360 or L/720 are industry standard formulas for calculating the rigidity of a floor construction. The L stands for the span of the floor joist. Dividing the span by 360 or 720 will give you the maximum distance the floor should deflect. Anything beyond this amount of deflection and you would be risking the buckling or failure of the flooring assembly. Let's look at an example of how to use this formula. If your floor joists are 120 inches and you are installing ceramic tile, you must divide 120 by 360. The result, which is 1/3, will tell you that the floor should not deflect any more than that value, and L/720 is half as much. As long as your floors don't deflect any more than L/360 for ceramic tile or L/720 for stone, you can use Provoflex. The underlayment won't fix structural issues in floors that don't already meet these requirements, so make sure you calculate the deflection value of your floor before installing Provoflex. So today we're going to put in our Proflex, which is our uncoupling membrane. It is waterproof 100%, but it's not meant for showers. It's meant for putting on a basement floor or a second floor laundry room, or you can put it in your kitchen too, but as far as the waterproofing goes, second floor laundry room or a basement, and you're going to cover it with Provojoint. That's going to seal the top edges together so the seam is not going to let any moisture come up through it. Because what happens with Provoflex, it has air channels underneath of it that allows moisture to dissipate and come out through. So on a concrete floor, if you have some moisture, it's going to dissipate throughout. For a second floor laundry, if you have a flood, you want to cover the joints so water can't get down between the joints. So when you're on the basement floor, you've got moisture coming through, it wants to get out. If you haven't got Provojoint over top, it can come out on every joint, which could be an issue when you're dealing with stone. All right, so the tools we're going to need here today is we're going to need a sharp knife. Of course, we're going to need a tape measure, a pencil or something to mark with. You need a 1/4 by 1/4 square notch trowel, a block of wood for smoothing it out. You'll see how easy it goes. You could also use a 75 or 100 pound roller. This product, so the point load's so high on it, you can use a roller. A mixing paddle with a drill, and you're going to use a straight edge. And of course, polymer modified thin set mortar. So now I already have one piece installed, and if you remember that on our showers, I always talk about putting the membrane up over the curb and out onto the plywood floor. We've already got that done. So now I'm going to install the next one here. And again, I've already pre-cut it. Always going to key in your mortar. So, second floor laundry room or in a basement, you have to put the Provojoint on, and you should do that. It's right here. Now, the trowel I've been using and putting down the Provoflex is a 1/4 by 1/4. Usually we recommend using a 1/4 3/16 inch V-notch with this, but because it's such a small amount, you can get away with a 1/4 by 1/4. Another part about this, you're going to set tile. When it comes to this, you really, when you key it in, it's a one pass. And I'll show you this. So you drag your float over, fills it in, I would say very close to 100%, if not like 98. When you notch it back the other way, it's all ready to go. That's how fast this product fills in with mortar. Now moving on to our waterproof crack isolation and uncoupling underlayment that can be used as part of our radiant floor heating system, Provoflex Heat. Apart from the typical benefits offered by our underlayment systems, Provoflex Heat can be used for installing heating cables to warm your floor. The studs that hold the cables are designed so any heating cables can be installed in our product. And the underlayment's interlocking channels create points of contact so the cables will remain locked in place. Even your sensor cable will stay in place on this one. This level of compatibility is yet another way we try to make the Provo line of products versatile. Plus, we consulted many manufacturers and used their expertise to agree on a cable spacing size that is just right. The result is a cable spacing that provides the most efficient heat distribution across your floors, and one that will ensure your heat sensors always pick up accurate readings. Also, if your flooring needs to be level where two flooring types transition, such as transition to hardwood, the height of Provoflex Heat is ideal for that. It's especially useful for below-grade installations over concrete because it has vapor channels for dissipating moisture. So now we're going to do Provoflex Heat in here because we want to heat this bathroom area. Provoflex Heat is just like our other membrane Provoflex, other than it's thicker, so it's double the height, it's almost 1/4 of an inch. It takes any size wire out there. It even takes the sensor wire and holds it firm for you, which it means a lot. Takes any size wire from up to a 5.4 millimeter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mortar it down, polymer modified thin set mortar. The back of our uncoupling membranes have a shear stress control technology. What it allows it to do is the floor can move in plane up to 1/8 of an inch without taking that crack and putting it into your tile. So it stops your tile from cracking. Okay. So just like our other uncoupling membrane, if you're going to do it in a basement, you're going to do it in a second floor laundry room, you're going to want to cover that joint with Provo joint. But you don't want to do that first until after you've run your wire. If you do the joint first, you can't get your wire through it. So we have optimal 3-inch spacing, which is the best spacing according to wire manufacturers for the heat to transfer sideways. Gives you the most even heat. So as I mentioned, any size wire, because the way it goes in, you're going to see it here, it kind of goes in, it weaves itself in. So I think you can see that there because we have 2 points of pressure on one of the studs and 1 point on the other one. So that's putting pressure here and here. That's why the wire goes in like that. And that's why we can do any size wire. We don't care. Up to 5.4 millimeter. So you just run that through. You could go all the way in the shower. You can come along here, go this way, come back. For what do you have to make it work? So I mentioned the sensor wire. This is tiny. It will fit in here. Now the sensor wire, you got to have the sensor in the center between 2 wires. You can't have this too close to that. You can't have it touching it. So you can put it right back in there like that. Bring it out of there. Then you take that sensor wire back to your thermostat, which is going to control the heat, what temperature ever you want it at. So that's why it's a great mat, because it takes any size wire. It holds a sensor wire, it holds a big wire, and anything in between. So we're going to finish this off. We'll have it all done. That covers it for our webinar on Prova underlayments. To recap, we discussed all the benefits of our underlayment products, Provoflex and Provoflex Heat. We explained and detailed their technical properties and supporting test results, and we went over how easy they are to install, whether they are being used to dissipate vapor or install heated flooring. The learning doesn't stop here though. This was just one video on some of our Prova products, but we are always innovating on our offerings and updating our installation methods to meet the changing needs of installers and industry standards. Please join me and watch other videos in the series where I go over topics like shower-based designs, waterproofing mortar types, and installation techniques. I'll see you there.